Hello, everyone. It's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. On January 30th, 2025, Aptera released this supplement to the SEC filing report. So this says, I don't know how many of you guys have seen this, but this says Aptera Motors previously disclosed that it had received a request from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission to preserve documents related to the company's securities offerings and production, design, and manufacture of our vehicle relevant to an ongoing investigation. The company subsequently received a subpoena for documents from the commission requesting a certain of the same documents as described in the preservation request. The company is cooperating with the investigation and intends to produce documents in response to the subpoena. The commission informed us that this investigation does not mean it has concluded that anyone has violated the law, and receipt of the subpoena does not mean that the commission has a negative opinion of any person, entity, or security. The company, however, can offer no assurances to the outcome of this investigation or its potential effect, if any, on the company. Accordingly, the section entitled "The Company's Business Legal Environment" is qualified by preceding information, and the offering circular supplemented with the following additional risk factor. The risk factor is company is aware that it's the subject of it that it is the subject of an investigation from the commission. In January 2025, the company received a subpoena for documents from the staff of the commission related to the company's securities offerings and production, design, and manufacture of its vehicle relevant to an ongoing investigation. The company is cooperating with the investigation and intends to produce documents in response. The commission informed the company that its investigation does not mean it has concluded that anyone has violated the law, and that receipt of the subpoena does not mean the SEC has a negative opinion of any person, entity, or security. The company, however, can offer no assurances as to the outcome of this investigation or its potential effect, if any, on the company. Responding to the subpoena and any subsequent inquiries or legal proceedings will require that the dedication of the management's time and attention and may result in incurrence of significant expense, including legal, accounting, and other professional fees. The company cannot predict the outcome of the investigation. While the company is cooperating fully, the possibility exists that the investigation could lead to legal proceedings. Such proceedings, if they occur, could have material adverse effect on the company's business, financial condition, result of operations, and cash flows. Okay, so that was a lot of words. What does this mean? So the SEC is obviously entrusted to protect investors, and they basically investigate securities fraud. So when you have a while back, they told Aptera, hey, don't destroy any documents. We want you to preserve everything. And then I guess on January 30th or thereabouts, they got a subpoena saying you need to produce these documents to us. These documents can mean that Aptera themselves is under investigation, or it can mean that the SEC believes that Aptera has information and they're investigating some other entity. So, but this part, I don't know if they worded this correctly, or if subject means the same thing. See, when it says the company is aware that it's the subject of an investigation from the commission, that seems to indicate that the subpoena said that Aptera is the entity that's being investigated, meaning it's a subject. But it could also mean, so subpoenas can also be put out to Aptera because they're investigating another entity. So that's also a possibility. But there is what we do know is the SEC is investigating somebody. And the reasons that they could be investigating someone is because they have reason to believe that some kind of securities fraud may have been committed. They're not sure. That's why they want information, because they want to review the information and decide if it is something they decide to pursue. So they could have gotten this from like just reading the news, or there could be a whistleblower employee of either Aptera or a related company that Aptera may have information about, or it could be a disgruntled or an investor that kind of tipped off the SEC and asked them to investigate this thing. How long do these things take to go through? It looks like they generally have a few weeks to a month to produce the document. So, and they can ask for anything. So this includes electronically stored information, company meeting minutes, shareholder voting records, text messages, emails, other internal communications. So this is potentially a lot of information. And this could take a lot of time just to gather all this information. So it is gonna take away some time for some people. And the first thing they say to do is when you get a subpoena is to get a lawyer. And so Aptera's definitely gonna have to hire a securities defense attorney. And whether or not they did anything wrong, they're gonna have to hire an attorney. That's gonna incur some costs, and they're gonna have to produce these documents, and they're gonna have to produce them fairly quickly. And it could be a lot of information, so that's gonna take a lot of administrative overhead. Someone's gonna have to find all this information, collate it, and produce it, and give it to them. So it's something that kind of takes away manpower from the things that we want them to do, which is like validate the vehicle, test the vehicle, work on fundraising, get money to go into production, that kind of stuff. This is sort of like the Aptera lawsuit. It's something that they have to deal with. It's something that takes away mental bandwidth and administrative bandwidth, and do that. So right now, all we know is Aptera is being asked to produce documentation. I read on several sites that these things can take years to figure out. So what they do is they request documentation, then they review it for a couple of months, and then they ask to request the SEC can sometimes request additional information, different kinds of information. Then they look at it for a couple of months, and they request more, and then they decide, okay, we don't want to proceed. This seems all good, and so they drop it, or they decide that they want to proceed, and it goes into become a legal, could be a civil or criminal investigation, and then that can drag on for another year or two. So this is not something that's going to be resolved anytime soon, but what we do know is either Aptera or some company that it's affiliated with is under investigation, and the SEC believes that Aptera has information that's relevant to that investigation. We do not know if if there was any wrongdoing. That's what's being figured out by the SEC after production of these documents, and we don't know who is alleged to have done the wrongdoing. Is it Aptera? Is it someone else? We don't know that. Although this seems to indicate that Aptera is actually the entity that's being investigated. I'm not sure if the wording is correct or if I'm interpreting that correctly. If someone knows more, please comment in the comments below and kind of share your legal information with us. But what we do know for sure is that Aptera is going to have to hire a security defense lawyer, and Aptera is going to have to spend time to produce these documents, and it's going to be a lot of documents. It's like, can you imagine having to like download and get all the emails and text messages and company minutes and all of that kind of stuff? It's going to take a lot of time. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you know more about this, let me know in the comments below and kind of share your knowledge with the rest of the community. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.